Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Chris Lester here. I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day and joining us here for our weekly chat with Chris. Today's topic, again, is why you should have an estate plan. So Smart Money made a comment, if you have some assets, maybe just a car, some nice furniture, or minor children, you still need an estate plan, even if taxes are not an issue. LexisNexis made a comment, 56% of Americans do not have any estate planning documents in place. One of the questions I will normally ask folks in my office is, name one thing New Jersey manages well. And there's usually a pause. There's usually no response. And I will then follow up with, exactly. So if New Jersey has a hard time managing itself well, how good of a job do you think it will do managing your estate? And it's not just New Jersey, it's just the government in general, right? So AARP, only 23% of American adults over age 50 have a trust. And I think that number is quite low. So why don't more people have an estate plan? Well, it's an intimidating process. Right, I've been almost 30 years in the business, and I've learned a tremendous amount and deal with a lot of estate planning attorneys. And you know what? I deal with two of the largest estate planning attorneys here in New Jersey. I've referred clients to Wax and Associates in Morristown. Stark and Stark is down there in Princeton. And I know that to do a comprehensive estate plan is between $2,500 to $6,000. So costs can be expensive. It's also an uncomfortable topic. I've seen the documents that they've handed clients, and they hand you this package, and then they say, hey, go home and fill this out. It is a daunting task. And then it becomes somewhat, you have questions, and you don't want the meter to be running, so it becomes too complicated. And I can tell you, if I have 10 clients walk into my office and sit down, 8 to 9 of them do not have a will, trust, powers of attorney, healthcare directives. However, at the end of the day, everyone has an estate plan. You have your plan, or you have the government's plan. So the choice is yours. You have two options, and you have to ask two questions. Who makes decisions over your assets, your healthcare, your family's future, etc.? You or the government? How much of your estate do you want to go to the courts and to attorneys? Because you're going to pay one way or another. So if you have no estate plan, that equals probate. And in general, it's public viewing. Everybody gets to see what it is that you're doing. Courts decide who receives your assets. Your private matters now become public. Families wait months before receiving assets. Average probate can take 12 months. Multiple probates, if you have, 2+ states, maybe property in another state, and then thousands of dollars in costs and fees. So the cost of probate, depending on where you live, you're going to have filing. You have to file. Somebody is deceased. Then you have the legal notice fees. You have bond fees, personal representative fees, attorney's fees, appraisal fees. This stuff all adds up to the estate. So the total cost of a probate ballpark range, 1% to 8% of the estate. So a $300,000 estate could be anywhere from $3,000 to $24,000. California, a $100,000 estate can cost $8,000 plus. So it's just expensive. Under some state laws, the attorneys and personal reps are entitled to reasonable compensation, and that's a legalese word right there that just means that they get paid, and as long as it's not obtrusive, it probably is a way for them to milk the estate as well. Typical average probate, like I said, is between $2,000 and $5,000, plus costs of time and the loss of privacy. So this is, again, why doing nothing is really not the best plan, because this is the government's decision for you. So important documents in an estate plan: a revocable living trust, a last will and testament, also known as a pour-over will, durable powers of attorney, and advanced medical directives. So what is a revocable living trust? It's a legal document that creates a new entity. You fund your assets into that trust. You own and control the trust while you're alive. You move the assets in and out of the trust as you see fit, but you get to rule from the grave. You specify what happens to your assets after you die, and then revocable and changeable while you're alive. You can change your mind. It just gives you the best of both worlds. You decide, not a court, who receives your hard-earned assets, when you receive them and at what age, how they will receive them. So if you have some circumstances in your family where maybe handling somebody at 18, 19, 20 years old, $250,000, $500,000, putting them into this predicament of, hey, woohoo, I need a new Ferrari, quite often you can put spendthrift provisions in there. So how they receive them, over what time, whether it's in a lump sum or not, you get to decide who makes the decisions in the event that you're incapacitated. You also get to manage assets for minors. You get to decide that, and that's a big one. I often will share with folks, money makes people funny. And so you can put mechanisms in place that really just takes question marks out of the process. And you also get to decide who raised your children if they are minors. So benefits of avoiding probate, you get to save money. You get to save time. You save hassles, paperwork, and you got privacy. A last will and testament, this is important because your last will and testament is often called a pour-over will, but it's used in conjunction with a revocable living trust to convey anything that you may have forgotten to fund into the trust prior to your death, hence the term pour over. So a lot of little things that you're not naming can all sort of be collected and poured into this trust. Any unfunded assets will go through probate first unless they are of minimal value. So powers of attorney. There's two types, our main powers of attorneys. There's for finances, so you have durable financial powers of attorney, and then you have for healthcare, so durable healthcare powers of attorney. Durable means that the appointment of power will endure even if you're incapacitated. So if you're in a position where you can't make decisions for yourself or communicate that, then the person you've elected will act on your behalf. And this power is effective upon the date of execution of the document and upon your incapacitation, depending on the selection you make in the document. So it's just really, really good to have. And then the durable power of attorney for finances will give you an appointed agent the power to make basic financial decisions regarding your assets, not funded into the trust. So for assets already funded into the trust, the trustee has this authority. And your agent may use his power to buy and sell non-trust, write checks from your estate, from your accounts. He or she can even fund assets into your trust prior to the death to avoid probate. So it just allows typically problematic situations to get cleaned up. So the durable power of attorney for healthcare allows your appointed agent to make important healthcare decisions for you, even in the event of incapacitation. You choose carefully because your agent can terminate life support systems even if the principal is not terminally ill. So, again, these decisions, this is what makes it uncomfortable because when you're sitting around the dinner table, even in a COVID-19, this is not typically the topic that you want to be having right now. So living will and advanced care directives. Living wills and advanced directives allow you to determine how you want medical care administered if you have a terminal illness or a comatose state. If such a condition should happen to you, these instruments will serve to give notice to the medical professionals your wishes. If you don't have this, then they have to follow state laws and it could end up draining the estate, right? So, unless you have a do not resuscitate order in place, they can continue to keep you on respirators or iron lungs or things of that nature. So, it should be discussed. And quite often it is uncomfortable saying, hey, what do you want to have happen? I have no idea your belief system, right? That's between you and your significant others and the people in your family, but it should be discussed and not neglected. So what's the solution? Well, one solution is something that we've started to use with our clients. It's called Legacy Lock, and it's an internet-based estate planning technology. It creates a simple, affordable, custom estate plan without leaving your home. These are fully drafted documents in all 50 states, drafted by attorneys. One of the things I want to absolutely make clear, we are never acting as the role of attorneys. Right now, I've just handed Ed Wax, one of my long-term clients, had an estate dispute. And so that is when you want to have an estate planning attorney representing you, right? When somebody challenges it. it's a long story, but having something in place is much, much better, as we've already discussed, than having nothing. And this is an option. So what does that look like? Well, it's a comprehensive estate plan, which includes revocable living trust. It can have all those components within it. Certificate of trust, last will and testament, 24/7 account access, and it includes financial power of attorneys or healthcare powers of attorney, living will, advance directives, and more. All those things listed. All of this fully comprehensive is $995, and that's all in. The only additional fee for this is an annual fee of $30. It gives you full access. So these are all stored electronically. It's online. They're all drafted manually. You're all signed manually and notarized, and then they're stored virtually for you, for your heirs. And right now we've been successful in a COVID environment of implementing these. So, it's just something, at least in this area, that seems to make a lot of sense. So it really is just another alternative to doing nothing at a reasonable cost. So the process is simple. You're going to be able to go online with your advisor's help, whether that be me or the person that invited you to this call. And we just go through the interview review, and we're going to ask questions, right? So we only act in a administrative role, not in a legal role. So as we go through, we read it, we ask the questions, we input the fields, and it populates that so that ultimately we can get that printed for you and then signed and notarized, witness, all the things that are needed to put this and make this effective. So it's easy. The online platform walks us through the process. It's educational. So if we're unclear on something, attorney-created videos are there and in place to help explain exactly what's being asked here, to make sure that your decisions are what you wanted to have happen. And then lastly, it's a secure document vault. It stores your signed copies for all your documents 24/7. So we've had a lot of success, a lot of interest with helping our clients with that. And it's simple. Online platform walks us through this process. It's fast. We can get this implemented. And especially in a COVID environment, we've seen an uptick in people looking to get their affairs in order. It's professional and complete peace of mind at a reasonable cost. And folks, we are at the end. I try and keep this to 15 to 20 minutes every week. If this is something that you'd want to see as an option for you, just reach out to me. There's my email, and just say, hey, they offer a 10-day free trial. You can go in and play around with this and see if this is something that you want to go ahead and execute. If that's something that you'd like to do, just go ahead and send us an email, me or the advisor that invited you to this call. Either way, let's make sure that you're taken care of, that your affairs are in order. And I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their call this week and joining us. We'll see you next week, each and every Thursday at 4:30. And like I said, as promised, keeping it to 15 to 30 minutes. Have a great day. Stay safe. And if you need us, reach out. Talk to you soon.